Recently, the Pokemon Company has been surrounded in controversy with their decision to not include the National Dex in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Now, I decided to hold off and gather a lot of information before I decided to post this video because I do think that it is something extremely important, and this is some information that I've wanted to bring to light for a very long time now. Now, if you guys weren't already aware, during Nintendo's E3, specifically during the Nintendo Treehouse, when they showed off Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, Masuda, who is the creator of Pokemon and one of the developers, said that we would not be getting the full National Dex in Pokemon Sword and Shield. This has led to a ton of controversy and lots of fans starting to use the hashtag #BringBackTheNationalDex. Because of this, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and gather a ton of research to really delve into why we are not getting the National Dex backs, and my findings are extremely shocking. Now, if you guys weren't already aware, which I'm sure you are because this has been going around the internet for such a long time now, the Pokemon Company has decided that they are not going to bring back every single Pokemon that has ever been created in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, their reason for doing this is because they don't have a lot of development time considering the game is slated for a November 2019 release date. And yes, I completely understand that that is true. There is not a lot of time left considering November is basically right around the corner for them to develop all these different kinds of Pokemon. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is very bad and that Pokemon should just go ahead and delay the games and people are going to be okay with that. But guys, the reason they are not doing that is because Nintendo needs a big holiday title like Pokemon for their upcoming holiday season. What Nintendo typically likes to do is they like to have at least one big first-party release during the Christmas and Hanukkah season, so that way they can sell a bunch of games, and this year they just don't have one without Pokemon. Back last year, we had Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which carried the first-party slot, so there really is no way that they are going to be able to delay these games. Now, I'm sure you guys are all wondering right now, well, why didn't they put more work into Pokemon Sword and Shield before? Why has this taken so long, and why are they not including all of our favorite Pokemon? Couldn't they just take the 3DS models from Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon and put all of them into Pokemon Sword and Shield just with a little bit of a higher resolution? I mean, yeah, that is definitely possible and something that I wish they would do, but guys, you also have to remember that it does take time to develop each of these different Pokemon. Now, one of the reasons that they are not adding all of the Pokemon that a lot of people have recently been talking about is they're not going to be adding them because Game Freak, who is the company that is developing Pokemon Sword and Shield, has a bunch of other side projects that they are working on. For instance, Game Freak is currently working on a game called Town, so some of their resources are currently going to them. In an interview with the creator of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, Junichi Masuda, he said, "There are now well over 800 Pokemon in the National Pokédex, which means limiting the Pokédex to a particular region, along with a few fan favorites, was an eventuality." Additionally, he also went on to note that the Nintendo Switch hardware means they can create Pokemon with higher fidelity and higher quality animations. Doing this across 800 plus Pokemon just wouldn't be feasible, it has been suggested. Elsewhere, battling and the Pokemon esports scenes was another reason they decided to limit it. Doing so allows all Pokemon within the Galar region to potentially have a place in the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield meta. Now, if you guys weren't also aware, he also went on to state some information about how difficult it was to make all of these animations, and I'm sure by now you guys have already all seen the comparisons between like Pokemon Stadium and even Pokemon Sword and Shield with Sun and Moon. I mean, the animations in battle do not look good. For instance, we have Score Bunny, which uses a double kick move, and all it does is hop twice, and it really doesn't have any good animation. So if they are going to be cutting corners like this, why aren't they going ahead and adding in more Pokemon, or at the very least, making the animations like they claim to be doing the very best that they can be? Now, one of the biggest reasons for this is because of Pokemon Go. Now, for those of you guys who weren't already aware, Pokemon Go has actually made up of 5% of Pokemon's 23-year history revenue. I know that 5% may not seem like a lot, but considering that Pokemon Go has only been out since July of 2016, making up 5% of Pokemon's total revenue is absolutely insane, and that is something that they are also focusing on. Not only that, guys, but Pokemon is just starting to get kind of lazy. They know that since Pokemon is such a worldwide phenomena, no matter what they do, people are still going to end up buying Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I know for me personally, as a YouTuber who is going to end up streaming it with all of my fans, I am going to have to buy these games even if they aren't the best that they are going to be, and I know that even though lots of people are saying that they aren't going to end up buying them, I just cannot believe that that's going to end up being true. People are still going to end up buying these games, and Pokemon knows that, which is why they are putting more effort into their other companies like Town, and they're putting more effort into like Pokemon Go. That is why they feel that they can do all of this. Another issue with Pokemon Sword and Shield that we need to go ahead and talk about is the kids. Now, although most of us who are playing Pokemon Sword and Shield and a lot of different Pokemon games are adults because we grew up playing it, their target demographic at the end of the day is kids. And in a recent study, it has been found that kids only play for a short amount of time, which is why video games are becoming shorter and easier. I mean, if you take a look at games like Pokemon in the past with Pokemon Sun and Moon, everyone says that Pokemon Sun and Moon were way too easy because they added in the experience share, which gave Pokemon experience no matter if they were battling or not, and it gave it to your entire team. Now, this is something that was unheard of back during the days of Pokemon Red, Blue, Fire Red, Leaf Green. We had one experience share you could give to a Pokemon, and only one Pokemon was able to gain experience for not being in battle. Pokemon, as well as other video game companies, are now holding the hands of kids because if the game is too hard, they're just going to give it up and not continue playing. Although yes, they do have a huge demographic of older fans who would prefer the games to be just a little bit harder, at the end of the day, they still do have to focus on kids, which is why they are also starting to shift their focus towards the mobile market. If you take a look at what Pokemon announced during their last press conference, they announced Pokemon Masters, which is a mobile game, Pokemon Sleep alongside the Pokemon Plus, as well as Pokemon Home. Now, all of those are really good, especially Pokemon Home, because we are going to be able to transfer our Pokemon over to the new games. However, we can see that Pokemon, as well as many other Nintendo companies and properties, are starting to shift their focus towards the mobile market. They understand that not everybody in the world owns a Nintendo Switch, but most people own a smartphone or some kind of tablet. So, in the end, what is going to make more money? If they make this huge game with tons of different animals and different Pokemon in it, and they sell it to 3 million people, or if they sell a smaller game that you can play on the go and it sells for 99 cents to 100 million people, that is going to end up making more money in the long run. So I feel like that is what Pokemon is starting to do, especially with the difficulty. These games are not games that you're going to have to sit down with and play for hours on end to get good like Sword and Shield. These new mobile games like Pokemon Go and Pokemon Masters are just games that you can pick up on the go, and they're a way for Pokemon to make a ton more money. Once again, if you take a look at the sales of Pokemon Go, you would see that a ton of Pokemon's revenue is coming from these games that have been out for 3 years of their 23-year history, which is why Pokemon now understands that that is the direction they should be going, so they should put less effort into their new games because they are still going to sell to their core audience. At the end of the day, guys, Pokemon is a game franchise that is very near and dear to my heart, which is why it is so upsetting to see them cut corners like this. I mean, which of our favorite Pokemon are not going to end up making the cut? One of my entirely favorite Pokemon in these game franchises is Infernape, and he is from Generation 4, so are we going to end up seeing him in Pokemon Sword and Shield? As of now, there's really no way of knowing. Also, not only that, guys, but alongside our favorite Pokemon getting cut, I mean, we can't transfer over our first shiny Pokemon. My first shiny Pokemon was in Pokemon Diamond Pearl, and it was a Chingling that I still have to this very day. It's a shiny Chingling, and I'm afraid that now, since it's in my Pokemon Sun and Moon, I'm not going to be able to transfer it over to Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's not a Pokemon I use in battle, but it is very sentimental to me, so to leave it in Pokemon Home or Pokemon Sword and Shield where it can just rot away forever just doesn't sound very appealing to me at all. At the end of the day, though, guys, I do partially understand why Pokemon is doing this. Pokemon is content where they are currently at. They are always going to be one of the most popular game franchises, and once again, although people are saying that they may not buy the game, come launch date, I guarantee that opinion is going to change. Pokemon realizes that they can get away with being lazy and cutting corners, and to save money, they are going to do that. They are a business at the end of the day, and although we may not agree with it, and we may not like it, and we may not dislike it, we are all still going to end up getting Pokemon Sword and Shield. So the best we can hope for is maybe an update later down the line where they release DLC patches for all the other Pokemon. But as of now, guys, considering what Masuda has said, as well as the other creators, I cannot see that happening. However, guys, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section down below. This is an issue that is plaguing not only the Pokemon community, but new people that are going to be entering the Pokemon world. I mean, what if you entered the game and there was no Eevee or no Pikachu, the mascots of Pokemon? It would be absolutely insane. However, once again, Pokemon is going to do what they're going to do at the end of the day, so we are just going to have to wait and see which Pokemon make the cut. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section down below, and let me know if you're still planning on getting Pokemon Sword or Shield, because at this point, guys, I'm not 100% sure if I want to get behind this. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.